Hi Bazigars, welcome to the Poker School. Today we will learn how to play poker. Poker is one of the oldest and most popular card games in the world. Poker play involves a lot of skill and that's what makes it so exciting. It's played in many formats. The most common among them is Texas Hold'em. In this video you will learn the basics of how Texas Hold'em is played. So let's start this adventurous journey together. In Texas Hold'em, every player is dealt 2 cards that only they can see and use. These cards are private to each player and are known as their hole cards. Now there are 5 shared cards dealt in the middle of the table, which are collectively called the community cards. They are called community cards because all the players on the table can use them. The objective of the game is to make the strongest 5-card combination out of these 7 cards. The 2 hole cards dealt to every player and the 5 community cards shared by all players. In Texas Hold'em, cards are ranked from deuce to ace, with deuce being the lowest value card and ace being the highest value card. This game is played with only one deck of 52 cards regardless of how many players are on the table. But before we get any further, let's quickly understand the hand rankings in poker, so that we know what combination is better than the other and learn how to make our best 5-card hand. You may have to use a hand ranking chart at first, but it will help if you memorize them. Let's now start with the weakest 5-card hand you can have in poker, which is the high card. If out of your 7 optional cards, there are no 2 cards that are connected or of the same value, your hand strength is known as a high card. For example, if your hole cards are ace, 3 and the community cards are king, queen, 9, 7 and 2, your hand ranking is ace high card. The strongest 5-card hand you can make in this case is ace, king, queen, 9 and 7, after discarding 3 and 2, which are the weakest cards. Ace is the highest ranking card in this, hence the combination is ace high. Next, we have a pair. Having 2 cards of the same value or rank gives you a pair. For example, if your hole cards are ace and 9 and the community cards are king, queen, 9, 7 and 2, your strongest 5-card combination is 9, 9, ace, king and queen, which contains 2 9s or a pair of 9s. Then we have 2 pairs, which as the name suggests is having 2 different pairs of cards. For example, if your hole cards are 9 and 7 and the community cards are king, queen, 9, 7 and 2, your strongest 5-card combination here is 9, 9, 7, 7 and king. You have 2 pairs, a pair of 9s and a pair of 7s. Next, we have 3 of a kind, which is having 3 cards of the same value. For example, if your hole cards are 9 and 9 and the community cards are king, queen, 9, 7 and 2, your strongest 5-card combination is 9, 9, 9, king and queen, which contains 3 9s. After that, we have a straight. Having 5 consecutive cards with no gap between them, where at least one of them is of a different suit, is known as a straight. For example, if your hole cards are jack and 10 and the community cards are ace, king, queen, 7 and 2, the best combination you can make here is 10, jack, queen, king and an ace. This is known as a straight as you have 5 consecutive cards with no gaps between them. Ace can be used in the beginning to make a straight with 2, 3, 4 and 5, or in the end to make a straight with 10, jack, queen and a king, but it cannot be used in the middle of a straight like king, ace, 2, 3 and 4. Next we have the flush. This is the combination in which the suits of the cards become important, because to make a flush you need to have 5 cards of the same suit in your best 5 cards combination. For example, if you have a queen of hearts and a 10 of hearts and the board is 8 of hearts, 6 of hearts, ace of hearts, 2 of spades and 4 of clubs, you have a flush as all 5 of your cards are of the same suit. Even stronger than the flush is the full house. You have a full house when you have both 3 of a kind and a pair in your strongest 5-card combination. For example, if you have an ace and a king and the community cards are ace, king, king, 7 and 2, the strongest combination you make is king, 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 ace and ace, which is a rare combination of 3 kings and a pair of aces. Since our hand has both a 3 of a kind and a pair, we have a full house. Then we have 4 of a kind. When you have all 4 cards of the same value in your strongest 5-card combination, you have a 4 of a kind. For example, if you have an ace and a jack and the community cards are ace, 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 7 and 2, you have 4 cards of the same value or 4 of a kind. Your best 5 cards combination here is ace, 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 ace and a jack. Even stronger is the straight flush. This is a hand you make by having a sequence of 5 consecutive cards of the same suit. For example, if you have a jack of hearts and a 10 of hearts and the community cards are 9 of hearts, king of hearts, queen of hearts, king of clubs and a queen of clubs, you have a straight flush, as you have 5 consecutive cards which are 9, 10, jack, queen and king, and they are all of the same suit as well. This gives you a straight flush from 9 to king. And now, last but definitely not the least, we have the rarest, strongest poker hand that is unbeatable no matter what anyone else has, the royal flush. The royal flush is a straight flush from 10 to ace. For example, if you have ace of hearts and king of hearts, and the community cards are 10 of hearts, jack of hearts, queen of hearts, ace of clubs and ace of spades, you have a royal flush, as the best combination you make here is 10 of hearts, jack of hearts, queen of hearts, king of hearts and ace of hearts for a royal flush of hearts. And with that, we now understand the hand ranking in poker. We know all the possible 5-card combinations that we can make, and we can also rank them appropriately based on how strong they are. Let's do a quick recap. The rankings are high card, pair, 2 pair, 3 of a kind, straight, flush, full house, 4 of a kind, straight flush and a royal flush. Great! Now let's get back to the poker table and understand how a round in Texas Hold'em plays out. On a poker table, everyone's turn comes in a clockwise manner, from right to left. Every poker round begins with the cards being dealt from a position known as the dealer, marked by a D. This is the position that cards start getting distributed from, with the first card going to the player to the left of the dealer and so on. The first 2 positions on the dealer's left have to put compulsory chips in the middle. The first person on the dealer's left is known as the small blind and has to put in half the minimum bet for the table. The second person on the dealer's left is known as the big blind. This player has to put in the minimum allowed bet for the table. The cards are dealt only after these compulsory bets have been placed. After the blinds have been put, it's the turn of the next player in a clockwise direction to act. They now have a decision to make based on the whole cards that they were dealt. The decisions they can make are: number 1, they can fold their whole cards and exit this round without putting in any more chips if they don't want to continue in that round. Number 2, they can call or match the biggest bet in the round by putting in just as many chips. Number 3, they can raise or increase the number of chips required to continue in the round. This amount has to be at least twice the original big blind amount. Number 4, they can go all in or put every chip they have in the middle, since we are playing the no limit Texas Hold'em variant of poker. Here player 3 and player 4 decide to fold. Player 5 calls, we call, and the small blind folds. Once everyone makes their decision and all the bets from the players who want to participate in the round have been matched, the pre-flop stage of the game ends. All the chips are put in the middle, and now the first 3 community cards that everyone can use or the flop will be opened in the middle of the table. The action starts with the first player to the left of the button, which is the big blind. Post-flop, there is another option that the player gets. If no raises have previously been made, they have the option of checking or passing the action to the next player without putting in any chips. The big blind decides to check. Player 5 also checks. Now the action is on us and we elect to check as well. Now that the flop action is closed, the fourth community card or the turn will be dealt. After the turn is dealt, the action again starts with the big blind. Now the big blind decides to raise. Player 5 calls or matches the bet amount and we call as well. This will close the turn action and the fifth and final community card or the river will be dealt. On the river, the big blind decides to raise. Player 5 folds and we go all in or put in all the chips we have in the middle. The big blind calls and with this, the river action will close. If 2 or more players remain after the river action closes, a showdown will happen. In a showdown, every player remaining in the round makes their best 5-card combination using the 7 cards available. And whoever has the strongest 5-card combination amongst them wins all the chips in the middle, also known as the pot. And with that, a round of poker ends. The dealer button moves in a clockwise direction to the next player, the blinds are put up, and the next round begins. To quickly recap, the actions available to us on the poker table are: number 1, calling or matching the biggest bet made on the table. Number 2, raising or increasing the size of a bet. Number 3, checking or passing on the action to the next player if no bets have been made before us. Number 4, all in or betting all our chips. Number 5, folding or getting out of the hand if another player has bet before us. Great! Now you have got the basics of Texas Hold'em down. Thanks for watching and we will see you in the next one.